Me, George, and our professional equipment consisting
Of a
on
can
a
of
phone
Pepsi.
on top of a Coca-Cola can are back. Sponsor of the day is indeed Coca-Cola, which paid us $1 million just to put the Coca-Cola there.
Neither the Carlsberg, which is a can of beer holding the phone right now from not falling.
And this is the kind of money that allowed us to get a villa at only 19 years old and 23. And we bought it cash. You want to talk about this experience?
I don't want to say a lot of things about it, but they paid us to live here.
It's true.
They came and they paid us cash for us to live at this place now.
It's true. So actually, the house is the sponsor. We haven't paid for it. It paid for us. Okay. Today's topic, we haven't decided yet, but let's keep it more. Doesn't have to be just specific one.
And
So,
at the end of the conversation, there's going to be a small gift story.
sorry, I had memories, flashbacks in my mind.
So let's move on to the conversation first.
So, I can start by saying that yesterday you were in front of the pool making your motivational speech, and you made an interesting point. You said, what I realized is that to make money, you need to make yourself useful. Now you will talk about it again in your own terms. But that's an interesting point because every time I think people start their journey of I want to become rich, being rich by itself is a little bit of a thing in a selfish thing. Like I want to get rich, I want to make the money that other people don't have. I want to do it for me, right? So you start thinking about it. I want to make money. I want to do this thing for me, and you always put it on a perspective of yourself. Whereas as you go on, if you go on and you don't stop, it kind of most people, or at least that's what we're doing, we realize, okay, it's not just about me. If I want to make money, I exit from the perspective of me and I enter in the perspective of to make money, I need to take money from other people because I'm not a bank and I don't print money. And for me to take money from other people, I need to give them a reason to do it. So I need to make myself useful on their perspective. And so that changes the mindset. Feel free to go on and explain the point that you made yourself. So
Yeah, pretty much was it, because the main reason why I started talking about yesterday is because we're working with a client who is very happy and he paid us like 50% more extra from what he was supposed to pay us. Why? Just because he was very satisfied with the work we are doing for him and we're providing to him a lot of value. So this is how it came to my mind that in order to make money, you need to become useful. You need to find a way to solve problems, to provide value to the society, make a business better, make someone, I don't know, improve somehow.
people that are watching this video will see your feet moving in the first scene of the video.
In the first,
Like in the first part of the
Ah,
video. Like
okay.
it's just the first thing they see. So you're giving a speech with your feet moving there. But it's fine.
it's okay, it's feet, everyone has feet. It's not something we can hide, or I have to hide.
Okay.
Now, the only exception to this rule, I think, is
Trading.
trading, yeah.
I thought about it also because it's like, alright, you need to make yourself useful with other people. So let's talk about it. Is it always the case? Well, if you are into a people business, it's pretty much the case. Either it's a B2B, which is making yourself useful to other businesses, or a B2C, which is maybe, I don't know, making, let's say you sell shoes, making yourself useful because you solve a problem of giving other people shoes that make them comfortable, shoes that make them go for a good run, shoes that make them give a good status because there's written Jordan on it, whatever the fuck. So it's always about giving something. But in trading, it is the one business that it's not really about other people. Let's say like drop shipping maybe. It is still about providing value
Yes.
because you need to find a product that solves problems and that people want. So trading is the only thing that really you do by yourself. I guess in trading you can be a cocky bastard and be selfish as fuck and still make money.
Be useless, especially if you're into scam coins and shit coins and stuff like that.
Considering though that 90% of traders become gurus, then they need
But
to become.
that's a different case if you become a guru and you sell a mentorship or a program or a course or
Yeah.
something. So yeah, become useful. Become useful, learn how to solve problems. And the more useful you become, the more important the problem you solve, the more money you make. And you need to learn how to solve the right problems. Because okay, there are important problems and unimportant problems. For example, even the fact that this tree is not beautiful is a problem, but not a very important one. Meanwhile, the problem that a business owner is facing for his business, it can be a very important problem for him. So if I'm going to help him with that, then the outcome is going to be better for me.
Yeah. You said an interesting thing about the fact that the bigger the problem, the bigger the reward, or something like that, which is true, indeed, and is interesting. I'm lagging. Sorry. It's interesting because a lot of people, when they want to start making money, again, what do? They think about what business makes me most money. What is the business to start in this year? Or because it's more trendy, or because they don't think about what business can solve the most problems in the market. You know what I'm saying? For example, for a lot of time, I'm talking about myself because it's my experience. For a lot of time, I wanted to start a business, but instead I was just a faggot reading books about how to start a business, which can be another episode of the podcast.
Should be another episode for sure.
It's an interesting conversation, but I wanted to start a business, but I was always like, I don't know what type of business to start. Now, in hindsight, now every day, I'm starting to understand more about business, I mean, I'm not an expert. I cannot call myself an expert, but I'm starting to understand the dynamics a bit more, and I start to see the flow of money. And you know, when I heard people say, like I heard in the past some gurus say that, you know, money is a flow, it's like a river, and you need to position yourself in the right point to take the money from the river. What does that really mean? You don't really understand it, but that actually makes some sense. Meaning that, really, you go through life, and every time you spend money or every time you see somebody spending money, that's a business. We live in a house, okay, that's a business. There is the business of property developers, there's the business of real estate agents, property managers, and so much more. Then, I turn, I see a pool. There's the business of installing pools, there's the business of cleaning pools. If you don't have money to have a business to install pools, for example, you can start by being a pool cleaner, your neighbor. Then you become a pool cleaning huge company in your city. And then from just cleaning, you also start installing pool covers. And then from pool covers, you're investing money to start installing the fucking pool itself, as an example. So there's a lot of things. Or food. Okay, you eat food, you pay. So that's another business. And these things I started realizing when I got out of my parents' house or I go out from the comfortable environment where I was. Because first of all, if I wasn't paying for really almost nothing, you don't really understand the psychology of money and where money goes. But also because you see more stuff and you're like, okay, this is money, that's money. There's money everywhere. What do you
Yeah,
think?
it was a nice point you said, the fact that if you don't spend the money as you were doing when you were living with your parents, you don't realize the importance it has, psychology, how it moves, how it operates, how the world operates in general. So yeah, it was a good point.
Okay. So yeah, this is pretty simple. You just need to make yourself useful.
And there are so many different ways, based on what you said right now, there are really so many different ways you can make yourself useful. If you sit down and you try to think, you will find at least 5, 10 different ways how you can solve a problem and make money by solving it.
Yeah. I'll give you another idea, like another slightly different topic, just a conversation. I have a friend of mine who is trying to build an agency, and he started 3 months ago, and he's stressed because he's like, yeah, in 3 months I only signed 3 clients. At that time in February, he just quit a job, and he was like, yeah, in September I should start uni, or at least that's what I'm planning to do, unless I can find something else to do before that makes me money. And so he was like, yeah, now I want to try the marketing agency. Also because he saw me starting to do pretty good with the agency. He was like, yeah, I want to start making 4K a month by September, or otherwise I won't go in uni, shit like that. And I was kind of like, so if you don't make that money, you'll go uni. Why? Like, I'm like, bro, if you do it full. That kind of shit. It's like, the fact, if you have a plan B, you fuck up your plan A. That kind of shit, you know? What do you think?
Yeah, the plan B really is a thing that I never had in my mind. I agree with the fact that if you have a plan B, you fuck the plan A. Because it means that, first of all, you don't truly believe in the plan A. You're not going to try your best to succeed in the plan A. As long as you are thinking to yourself, okay, if this doesn't happen, that's absolutely fine. I'm going to go with this XYZ thing. But I also reached this point at some point in my life with the business that I started. That at some point everything was shit. I was not making money. I was losing money, and I reached the point where I was like, okay, if I don't make any money this week, I really have to go and get another job.
But that's because you have to, like, because you need money to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, that was like a kind of a plan B, if I can say it that way.
It's a temporary, depends if it's like I will become that person, or if it's like, it's just a temporary fix to do it. The thing with uni is that it's different from a job. It's like, yeah, if I don't make it, I'll go uni, my parents will pay for it, and I'll fuck around for 3 years doing nothing and going to parties. Like, that's the thing with uni. I think actually a job is a very good thing. Like, I went into entrepreneurship straight away, but you've been through a lot of jobs. Every day you're like, have I told you that I was this? Have I told you that I was that? Every time you tell me about a different job, every day you tell me about a different job you did, so I don't know how the fuck you did it. But I think it teaches you much more than just uni. And people are like, no, don't get a job. Like, it's shit. It's not honorable. It's great. Teaches you a lot. Even if it's just McDonald's, you start understanding business more and how money goes.
And in general, I don't think that getting a job, no matter what type of job it is, it's a bad thing. It's like an essential part of society.
Yeah.
Because, let's say, for example, my mother is cleaning the roads, like, how do you say it?
Cleaning the roads.
Cleaning the roads, yeah. I'm like, okay, if someone is going to see her as a third person, is going to say, oh, she didn't study, she didn't try like very hard in her life, but if she was not cleaning your road, then outside of your house you would fucking have shit, man, from dogs. Every job is fucking essential, and I don't disrespect anyone. I don't look down on anyone, no matter what type of job he's doing. Whether he's driving a truck, whether he's cleaning roads, everything is essential to the society. It's like a small piece that's missing from the puzzle, and someone has to do it.
And that's an interesting point because a lot of people do look down on jobs like, yeah, throw the trash and all of that. But you're saying it's like, explain your point.
It's fucking essential, man. What do you mean? If we didn't have people like my mother to clean the roads, then when we would get out, it would be full of dirt, dust, shit, and trash, man. And then you would be disgusting to go out. But in order to think that, when to say that, oh, if you do this, you need to be ashamed and all of that, then you're a fucking asshole, man. You haven't gone through difficulty in your life, and you don't know how to appreciate what you have and what's given to you.
Yeah, it's true. It is a valuable thing. Whereas people would be like, no, that's shit people. Instead, people that sit in the office and do nothing and are comfortable. This is a worthy job. This is a valuable job and I should look up to. It's not really like that. Like you said, it's just about solving problems.
And really, everyone is doing the same thing. Even my mother is providing value to society. The guy that built this house provides value to, not to us.
Yes.
But yeah, the guy that built the pool again provides some type of value. And literally anyone. The guy that, I don't know, gave us the meat we ate today provided us some value. So you can find ways to make yourself useful. Don't look down on people. Always appreciate what you have and what other people give you. And yeah, I think this is a lesson by itself.
Okay, but that's actually interesting. Don't look down on people. Let's say I'm talking with a person
Yeah,
and I'm 19, I have a business and all of that. And he is, let's take for example that guy at the gym, 29, and he's studying at uni. And he's telling me, bro, I'll give a life lesson, you need to save money. Like, internally, I do look down. I'm like, this faggot. Or, I don't know, I see a 40-year-old doing cocaine and doing drugs. I'm like, these guys are losers. Which is a sort of a way to look down. Because I'm saying that I'm a winner and they're losers.
I think that's kind of a bad mindset to have. To look down on people and think that you are smarter or better or anything than them. Our
Right.
job is not to criticize what other people do, we just need to focus on ourselves.
True. So it's about not criticizing.
Yeah, man, who the fuck am I to say that I'm better than someone else? Better at fucking what, man? We are both trash, we are this in a universe that's this big, man. We could literally have died today. This is how fucking unimportant we are. Now this is the tendency we have as human beings to think that, yeah, we are better, to look down on people, to always think that we are the smartest, we are the baddest motherfuckers, everyone else is fucking retarded, the whole world is evolving around us, meanwhile we're just little piece of shit in a small universe.
So you're for the team of being humble, always.
Yeah,
Like,
I
do you
think it's kind of like self-explanatory.
Yes, but do you think that like there are some human beings that are better than others?
No?
You see, like how many people look up to Cristiano Ronaldo and praise him like a god, and would really do anything to only see him, and they would bow at him.
The misconception here is that Cristiano Ronaldo is not a better human being, he's a better football player.
Yes, but like what I'm talking about besides Cristiano, like the idea that some people are better, like he's seen like a
Yeah.
god.
This is what I mean. They're not better humans. They are better at something specific, better at kicking a ball, better at teaching people, better at painting, better at singing. And doesn't make them better human beings.
But
There is no such thing as better human being.
I don't know if people would think that Cristiano is better than a homeless person on the street, right?
Okay, at that point, what can I do?
So you think he is not better?
Better human being? No, man. We're all little piece of shit. I don't think that no human being is better than the other one.
Really?
But from the other point of view, there are some human beings that are worse little piece of shit than any other human being. People who rape, people who kill, people who do all type of bullshit.
Oh, so there are.
But
people that
again,
are
I'm not the one to criticize them or say that they are worse human beings.
Interesting.
But yeah, there is no such thing as I'm better, I'm stronger, I'm this, I'm that, and everyone
Well, I'm
else around
stronger
me.
might be a fact.
Yeah, it's stronger, it's just a random word that came into me. Yeah, stronger can be a fact. I'm better, I'm don't know, everyone else around me is dumb. No, that's a very bad mindset to have. Never disrespect people.
But let's say you take two people. One is more fit, more strong, more successful, more rich, more everything. Better in a lot of things. So you would say that he is better in general.
Better at what? At running a business? Yeah, maybe. Better at lifting weights? Yes, maybe. But these things are different compared to saying that he's a better human being.
He
There is no
better at
such
life.
thing. What does better at life mean?
Better at every single thing that life gives you.
Well, not necessarily, man. That doesn't make him a better human being. There is no such thing as being better. Don't. This is what I'm saying. It's a very bad thing to look down on people. You might be better at doing X, Y, Z thing. No, you are not a better human being. You are a little piece of shit, my friend. The world is not evolving around you.
And how does the fact that the world doesn't evolve around you imply that you're a piece of shit?
The fact that all human beings have the tendency to believe that everything is around them. It's just me, I'm this, I'm that, I'm me. Everywhere they're thinking only about themselves. Meanwhile, no one doesn't give a fuck about you. The world, the people around you, no one. If you're going to die, nothing is going to change tomorrow. No matter how important you think you are. We are so fucking unimportant in this world. Meanwhile, many human beings think the exact opposite, and they walk around in life as if they are the center of the universe, and they are cocky, and I'm better than them, and I'm no, it's a very bad mindset to have.
Are we better than animals?
No.
No.
Better at what? Fighting?
No, in general.
No, man. It's different things. Many animals could kill us very easily. Does that mean that we or them are better? No, it's just different.
Cool. Nice speech. I learned. Good. So the main part is done. If you want to share the bonus. I mean,
Do you want to get off your t-shirt?
it's nothing. Just a few scratches.
So, let's start with the story. I've been waiting for it. Fuck, I burned. So it all started today. A small story we said at the beginning. Today in the morning, just casually George woke up. He was drinking a coffee at this place here, looking at the nature. Now you can't see, but there are some trees and nature over there. And the idea came to my mind. I was like, okay, let's go for a walk to explore the forest around, to see what's around our house. Where do we live? What's close to us? So I went down, I put on some shoes, literally shirtless with some very short shorts. David saw me and he was like, "Where are you going?" I said, "Okay, I'm going to make a walk around to see the place." And he was like, "Okay, maybe we can go at the gym also."
No, it wasn't like that.
It was like that. Do you want to also go to the gym? I said, "Not now, but we
Okay,
can
yeah.
see."
Yeah.
So we started walking. Now there's a forest over there. We started walking in the forest, everything all good. We also saw like a wild motherfucking, how are these dogs called?
What did we see? Oh,
The big black dog with a head like this one.
a bulldozer or
That was a female holding it, and I thought that it was about to kill us. But looks like the female was strong, so we didn't die. And then after it, as we started walking in the forest, we saw a tremendously big cliff. And the sea was probably like 1.5 kilometers away from this cliff. We were literally
but
on the
not-
top of a mountain.
but not like this, 1.5. To specify.
Yeah. We were literally on the top of the mountain, crazy ass view. You could see the sea, the other mountains, everything. And George had the genius idea to get down from that cliff. And now, within the first 3 meters, the cliff was very dangerous cliff. Let's say that way. Within the first 3 meters, David slipped and started rolling in the cliff. Started rolling in the cliff, and literally he stopped rolling like 20 centimeters before a very big cliff. So it was really a very near death experience.
I was already very vertical where I was rolling, but
Yeah, it was.
but it's I don't know how I stopped.
It was really very vertical. And yeah, after it, we kept going down. We went through rocks. We did some crazy shit. We met some goats on the road.
And actually, wait, because that's an interesting thing. Because even such a little thing can have crazy consequence. Because all right, little decision, we see a hill, we go down. Little decision, I put my hand on a rock instead of another, and I put my foot in another rock and shit like that. And then very slightly, a foot slips. All right, the foot slipped. It's just a foot slipping. But then how the little thing turns into me falling on the ground, and then that turns into gravity, making me roll one time. First roll, it's fine. You're just rolling once. And the second roll is faster though. You feel that it's accelerating. You're like, fuck. And maybe your head hits.
And everything happened so fast, guys.
Yeah.
So fast.
That's exactly the thing. I didn't even realize it. So a little slip and then, what the fuck? I'm rolling at 20 kilometers per hour down a fucking vertical cliff. And then the third and the fourth spin, and each one of them go faster. And I really have no control. Like, I am pretty strong, and I never had any of these problems. Like, it's not that, but it's just like that can happen.
Really, from one moment to another, everything can end with a bad decision. Within seconds, that fast.
Exactly, seconds.
You won't even realize it.
It's just seconds thing. That's crazy.
And yeah, we kept going down for pretty much 1.5 hours. We went through so many different seats, so many different rocks, so many points where we thought that there was no way out.
Spikes, trees.
Spikes, trees, rocks, rocks that were not rocks and were sand and were breaking. So this whole thing was a fucking mess. I even have filmed a couple of videos, but at a later stage we lost the phone. We'll get into that. And after 1.5 hours of walking, we finally ended at the beach.
We
Very-
finally did it. All right, that was the goal.
Very crazy place, the beach, by the way.
Then
Very
you-
beautiful.
Then you get to the beach. There's nobody, of course. It's not like it was a famous beach. It's just a beach that nobody ever went to. You turn right, there's nothing. You turn left, there's nothing. You turn back,
There's nothing.
you turn back. There's
There's a cliff
the
like this
mountain.
one.
I'm like, okay, we managed to go down. We cannot go back up. Like it's impossible.
So the other way to go somewhere, because at this point we had no idea where we were, was to walk by the sea. I had the idea that okay, if we start walking by the sea, we'll end up somewhere in a city, in a beach, somewhere. Because going back was really impossible at that point. Maybe it was, but in my mind I didn't want to go through the same path again.
Yeah, but still, like going to the left, which is where we went. Like, okay, you could see some continuous of the
The
beach,
beach,
which was not sandy, by the way. It was with rocks, so some continuous of the rocks. But it was next to vertical hills, because where we went, okay, was very vertical, but not vertical. Otherwise, we would have not done it. But then everything else was actual rocks, like vertical ones. So there was no such thing as climbing back from there. So it was pretty dangerous to go there. Like, what the fuck? Like, because you couldn't see, you know. So after one rock, maybe there was just sea and there was no more beach.
So really next to the sea there was a very big cliff. Very big cliff, maybe like 50, 100 meters, I don't know how much.
Yeah,
It was like this steep, it was going like this, so the sea was there. And we started walking at the beach like this. So we started walking, walking,
Yeah,
walking,
walking.
and walking.
Yeah.
And we ended nowhere.
Yeah, 2-3 kilometers. And anyway, there was the sand. But every time there was a turn, because there were some big rocks with weird shapes, so every time you turned, you were hoping to see something.
But you wouldn't see anything.
And okay, at least we were lucky, okay, at least there was more rocks to walk. But at some points there were no rocks anymore.
At some point there were no rocks to walk, there was no beach, there was just the cliff and the sea.
Yeah.
So the only way out was to swim. And this is what we started doing.
We had with us a bottle of water, which, okay, we left after drinking. We
I also
had
forgot to say that one.
another little bottle of water, which I guess you drank, and then
A phone?
a phone, which now you understand why it's not working anymore. And a dinosaur bone,
Dinosaur bone.
which unluckily left us in the sea. We found a huge bone of a dinosaur,
Huge, like, it was this big,
and this thick.
this thick, it was...
I said we probably could have brought that to a museum and sold that. But anyway.
And that's how we started swimming, close to the cliff, to the sea. Until at a certain point, George couldn't swim anymore. George is not a good swimmer, just to let you know, guys. And I gave up. I went and I caught myself in the nearest big rock at the cliff. At this point, I thought that I was about to end everything. I was like, okay, George, you tried your best. You're not good at swimming. But good for us. When I went and I got caught from the big rock, I realized that at this point I could, my feet were touching the ground. It was not very deep. The ground was like rocks, very big rocks underwater. So I started walking.
Which is another risk that there was, because there was these vertical cliffs with the beach, like the beach with the water, and there was huge rocks everywhere. There were rocks that came from the fucking hill, so that means that this was not a very stable place.
And really, any huge rock could fall from the cliff so easily. There was nothing to protect
There were
us at
cracks,
all.
like, yeah.
There were cracks. There were like rocks you could see that they fell from the cliff, and there were like as big as this house. It was
Yeah.
fucking crazy. And after we reached that point, we started swimming to the place where we could both stand our feet in the underwater. We started walking.
Well, there was a little bit more swim there, so like we swam a little bit. Then there was a little bit more,
The underwater rocks.
yes, rocks, and then a little bit more like in the actual out of the sea. So there was a little bit of swim, and then no swim because there was the coast. How's it called? Yeah, the beach, which is not a beach, but anyway, and then a little bit more swim, and a little bit more rocks.
A lot of rocks, a lot of swimming, a lot of climbing. Many near-death experiences in this trip.
Lucky there was nothing inside of the sea. I'm afraid of that shit. Because you cannot see what the fuck is under.
It was the last thing that was in my mind back then. I thought I was about to drown at some point before I caught myself from this humongous rock. And then after this point, we started walking again. And at a certain point, after walking for like how much in total? 2.5 hours, 3 hours from the time we started from here.
Yeah.
We thought that everything was hopeless. We couldn't see any type of civilization, no human beings, just some seagulls flying above us. A very hot sun, and just rocks and sea. Until at a certain point, while we were walking in the beach, we saw some people in the top of a cliff. And we're like, okay, that's some civilization.
Promising.
It was very promising.
Life.
And so it happened. After like 10-15 minutes of walking, we finally saw the beach with regular human beings, with civilization, with people, a small village. And this is how we made it after a crazy experience with shitload of stuff. Now this thing happened today in the morning. You will see we are full of scratches and everything in our legs, back, arms, everything.
And ass.
So this is the first time we are telling this story to someone. We are going to work on the story to make it kind of sound more interesting. And now this is the first draft of the story.
What do you mean? But it's a true story. Like it's
Yeah, but we need to work to like make everything in place to make the story more interesting. We need to work on the story. And yeah, after this point, we started walking in the middle of nowhere without a phone because it drowned.
It didn't drown, it just died in the water.
Died in the water. Without any money on us, without any phone, both looking like we.
Without a t-shirt.
Without a t-shirt, being sunburned, full of scratches, David full of blood also. We were looking like we were fighting homeless in an island alone for 3 years. And we made to the civilization. And the thing is that today is the second day of Easter. So as soon as we reached the village, we thought, okay, that's it. We're going to get home soon. So we tried to find a way to call a taxi. But as soon as we reached the restaurant, we tried to tell them to help us by giving a taxi a call. Seems like there was no taxi here. Here people in Pisur, they don't use taxis. They're all driving nice cars. So we had no other choice and we started working our way back home. It was probably like a little less than an hour walk. Like, at this point was like 3 p.m. Probably.
I don't know.
2:30.
I don't know about the time.
2:30, 3 p.m. The sun was burning like hell. Like literal hell. Started walking in the in a road where there was only the place for cars. There was no place for a human being to walk at the side of the road. And we tried to make like, how do you say that thing?
Hitchhike.
That thing to ask a car to stop and pick us up to get us to the village. But no one fucking did. No one didn't give a single fuck about us. And this comes back to the argument that no one gives a fuck about you. You are unimportant to the world. Until a certain young man stopped. He was very kind to stop and give us a ride. He brought us in the village.
Well, not the village, in his village, which was a bit far from our village. So, yeah, nothing. We walked another 40 minutes and we arrived.
And we finally reached this place where we are right now. Safe, alive, after a crazy story, crazy experience. And yeah, literally this experience today made me learn a lot of lessons.
Yeah, what did you learn from today?
A lot of lessons. First of all, that nature doesn't give a fuck about you. Don't mess with it. We are unimportant. We could very easily die and no one would give a single fuck. They probably wouldn't even find us. We would rot in a place in the middle of nowhere. The second the second thing that I learned today is that I really want to live a life full of experiences. Life is not meant to be boring. I want to travel the world. I want to
But
do
experiences like this where you're close to death?
no close to
Okay.
close to death. No, I mean like okay, today I was not even planning to be close to death as well, but it happened. So yeah, this is the second thing I learned about myself today. And the third thing, it was that it really put me in a situation where I tried very hard to not die. Very hard to not die. Yeah, these are some things I learned from this experience, this journey today. What, what about you, David? Because you had a more near-death experience than me. What did you learn?
Just a gratefulness lesson.
Gratefulness lesson.
And actually, like, one thing I have to say is that throughout the way, maybe you were not I don't know what you were thinking, but you were talking pretty positive. I was impressed by that. I'm like, it's like, no, what do you mean? Like I said, what if we go there is no more rocks and there's just sea? And you're like, or I said, what if there's nothing? It's like, oh, come on, it's impossible if there's nothing. Okay. Or, I mean, what if there's no way to go down the mountain? It's impossible, there's no way. So, that's interesting. Positive attitude. Which is an interesting fact, because like the fact of being positive does not affect if there actually is a way down or maybe there's a block. But in some way, if you're positive, you do look at things in a different way and you find a way somehow. If I was by myself, maybe I would have been like, shit, there's the sea, I'm fucked, there's gonna be nothing. But we were positive, so we kept walking and we found the fucking beach. Which, yeah, a lot of people would have stopped looking before. Maybe would have stayed there, laying. And a lot of times I thought, I mean, you know, we had the phone initially, so I thought, alright, let's call somebody to pick us up somehow with an helicopter. I don't fucking know, bro.
They could send a boat, man.
Yeah, but that's what when we were already at the sea. I didn't think we would get to the sea initially. And no, nothing crazy. And to the question, would you do it again? What I was saying during when we were doing it, I was like, well, if I would get out of it alive, I would not have regretted it because I would be alive. If I get out of it not alive, then I would regret it, but I cannot regret it because I'm dead.
Regret because you're dead, yeah.
So, yeah, I don't necessarily regret it. It was a good test. and if God wanted me dead, I would be dead. So that means I have more to give. And there was a good lesson for gratefulness.
Yeah, that's it. And really, while we reached the beach, I asked David if you could go back in time 2 hours ago. While we're starting, at this point where we started here, would you do the same thing again? And he gave the answer he gave right now. And what I told him on that is that no, I wouldn't do it. Personally, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't have the balls to do it again if I knew what was coming in that cliff.
For sure.
Yeah, that's it. That was the extra story.
I give my back check. And then, yeah. Anyway, I don't think it's that bad. Like, because okay, if I say near to death, it's not that it's like, it doesn't look like I'm almost dead.
Yeah, near death experience from the point of view that if you would have rolled two
Yeah.
more times, you would have died.
True. My ass is worse back now. So.
You're right.
Alright.
Things could be worse. You could always be gay.
Yeah.